Fam, what's good? It's match day. Ish. We lost to Villa 1-0 at Villa Park. Not the greatest result, but a disappointing, I would say, non-energetic performance as opposed to the the last week that we had. I got Sandile here, who was supposed to have a panel. I think everybody is a bit pissed off right now. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
kick it off, man. How you feeling? What did you make of the game?
You know what? I'm feeling different. I think because I'd written the season off anyway a while back. Obviously, if we're able to get into Europe, that's great. But I didn't really have too many expectations for this season. So yeah, I think it's indifferent. It sucks that we lost, especially after the two games that we won. And I think last week, well, we mentioned that um, the win against Liverpool will mean absolutely nothing if we don't actually, go forward and win our last two games as well to try and push for a place in the Europa League.
Mm,
So yeah, yeah. I mean, different as I said. I mean, it was great. We had high expectations, but at the same time, we kind of knew that we are still not a good team.
yeah.
There's still the same players that we've been crying about all over the whole season long. So we were due a performance like this, I guess. But yeah, it's very disappointing. The guys never really got out of first gear. It was just poor. It was a poor performance
Flat,
overall.
very flat.
Yeah. And
Like
it's something.
yeah, no, carry on, sorry.
Okay, so I'm just saying that there's something about Xhaka and Ceballos as well. I mean, Xhaka, we know his left foot is potent, and he doesn't want to shoot. He doesn't shoot these days, and I guess it's easy to criticize that now that we've lost. But it's something that I've been noticing in the other games as well. He gets in a good position to take his shot, which we know is very good at with his left foot, and he just passes instead. And Ceballos, I think he tries to dribble too much inside the box. I think there was
Yeah.
twice where he could have just tried to fashion a shot, but it didn't quite work out. But yeah, poor
But
performance really.
let's unpack it a bit here. From the starting lineup into the first half. Well, firstly, like I think maybe also the other thing we must give credit to Villa. I think shout out to them. They came out, bro, tonight. They came out. And I was saying in the preview show I'm just about to release it was I hate playing a relegation fighting team. It's like
Yeah,
it's worse than a top four fight because these guys want to stay up. And you could see
yeah,
it. And it felt like our team didn't want to go the extra 10%. It's like they kept
mm,
it. And then you started like putting people on for a sense of urgency. And it didn't really work out. Like, for example, well, we'll get to it. So anyway, yeah,
yeah,
it just I just don't like playing a relegation team. And I knew they'll come out and play, irrespective of
yeah,
whoever they are. Even though
yeah,
Watford got dusted off earlier on, but still, I didn't expect it to
yeah.
be an easy game. But still, like, it was, I
Yeah,
suppose when I look at it in retrospect, I can be like, okay, it's fine, seasons written off, things are done.
look,
Maybe he's trying out combinations and stuff. But like, okay, let's go into the first half. Like the first half in the lineup, how did you feel about the lineup? Were you happy? Or let's rather go into the players that he selected. Were you happy in their first half performances?
Um, look, the player question is always a difficult one because I do expect him to try different combinations, and I do expect him to rest certain players. I think Xhaka has played pretty much every single game since lockdown, since we came back from football.
Yeah.
Mustafi's played a lot as well, so he needed to rest. Tierney as well needed a bit of a rest. So you can understand the changes that he made. And I don't want to criticize him too much yet for the players that he chooses because he has shown before that the players that he picks on the side, they go in and they do a job. Today, I just feel the guys didn't do a job. I
Yeah.
thought Nketiah didn't have the greatest game. But
Even
again, none
Cedric.
of our Cedric didn't have a great game. But then again, who did? You know what I mean?
Kola was bad, man. Yo, Kola
Kolasinac
was bad.
was terrible.
Yo, it was
So
so bad. I was so angry with him.
yeah,
And Nketiah.
look, and yeah, both of them. But nobody really had a good game. I think Ceballos maybe tried, But again, with him as well, it wasn't, it wasn't quite, maybe he wasn't getting the
You
support
think
that
they're
he
just like a
really
bit
did.
pop? Like,
Yeah,
you
look,
know what I
look.
mean?
The difference is Aston Villa have something to play for.
Yeah.
They wanna stay up. They don't wanna get relegated. We are in a position where we're probably thinking, yeah, the Europa League.
If we get Europa, we got like two routes. But I
Yeah,
get what
we've got two routes, but the league one, going to the league one, is going to be a whole lot more difficult because we're relying on other teams. So maybe the
mm,
motivation wasn't quite there from the players,
mm.
but yeah, it was very flat. And yeah, hopefully then we make up for it in the FA Cup final.
But like,
Maybe this is
look,
our thing now. We just beat top six teams.
it's like who used to do that? There was a small team like a Wigan. Remember Wigan back in the day?
Yeah,
They just
it
came
just
and just beat like 4 out of the
beat
six
everyone in
teams.
the top six.
Yeah, just to like
Yeah.
stay up. So hey, bruh, and we 10th now. Look, I get what you mean. I think the season has been written off. I think after the performances we have, it's just like, oh shit, we're back to the old Arsenal. But I think maybe the biggest point from the big takeaway, it did look leggy, it did look flat. Guys, for me, it was for me the tactic he tried to play wasn't right for this game. I feel like not 100%. At first, maybe, but I think he needed to play a four with a CAM. You know what I mean? Like a four in the back
Mm.
with the number 10 kind of role. Or if he's gonna play that position, somebody that's gonna come into the center and be creative. Because there were a lot of chances where, like, Kola or somebody goes into the center, but there's no one to pivot off. So they always just drop
Yeah.
to Torreira and Ceballos or Xhaka and Ceballos, and then they re-bring it up. So I felt like, and that was something we were waiting for to see how he's going to deal with that. Because look, the best creator maybe in the league is just at home chilling. You know what I mean? Just cooling off,
Yeah.
having some Turkish
Yeah.
delights and stuff. So I don't know, bro. Do you see anybody else filling that role? Do you think somebody else can? Because today it looked like I get his tactic, move it side to side, open up the gaps and play the ball through. But I couldn't find, nobody could pick that pass, that threatening pass that threw. Like Tierney came on and he did some work, but it's too much for him to do. So not to be overcritical, but who do you think can be that creative role or you see can fulfill
Um,
it?
Currently, no one. If we're being honest, obviously he doesn't trust Özil or he's not playing for whatever reasons. But besides him, we don't really have. I mean, Ceballos is a deeper sort of player, not a number 10 essentially, and we don't really have a number 10 at this stage because Willock is in it. Maybe Emil Smith Rowe, but he's out on loan. Nelson
Yeah,
can
he's
perhaps
actually
play
quite
that. Yeah, Nelson can play in that role, but again, it's not his natural position.
good.
And I actually expected Nelson to come on. I think the one thing for me that I can perhaps criticize Arteta with for today's game anyway, and well, some of the other games, is that I think he plays Pepe way too wide, and every time he has to try and cut into his left foot and pick out those crosses. And when he holds the line that wide, he doesn't give space for a Cedric or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what's
to
his old
overlap. Yeah.
Bellerin to actually overlap. So there's that. And yeah, I actually thought Rhys Nelson would actually come on for Nketiah. Yeah, just to, I mean, more direct running, good, you can get a good cross into the box. But yeah, I don't think it was the greatest lineup. But again, it's nothing really new.
Yeah.
When Kolasinac was playing and we were keeping clean sheets, it was all gravy. We were all happy. And today, I mean, he showed his true color. That's the Kolasinac that we know, not the one that
He
keeps
was
clean sheets. You know what I
so
mean?
shaky, bruh. There was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
times where he
defensively,
like look at the ball like he's like just, and it just
he's
bounces the ball
starstruck,
with me
man.
like, dude, what's happening with you here? Like I
Yeah,
honestly
yeah,
felt
look,
you should have subbed Kolasinac and Nketiah off. I don't know why he didn't do that. So
oh,
unless he's resting Luis, there was one point a guy made on the group. He was like, maybe also these guys didn't play flat out because look, injuries, you wouldn't want to get injured like a week just before, the FA Cup
the
finals.
final. Yeah,
You want to
maybe,
keep fresh, you want
maybe.
to keep a full team. Maybe it was also to see the Cedric kind of actually give him a whole 90 minutes, see how he plays,
Yeah,
put Kola in that
yeah.
position, see how he plays, holding. It didn't look great, man. You know what I mean?
No,
It didn't look great at
no,
all. So I don't know what's he gonna
man.
do now because I don't know, like, hey, we didn't enjoy what we saw.
For me, honestly, I don't think much has changed in terms of what he needs to do. I mean, we have maybe half the squad that isn't good enough and maybe needs to be sold. So from that perspective, regardless of how we've been playing, regardless of the teams that we've beaten, it's form. They are not really that great players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still don't rate Luis that highly. He's had a couple of good performances. He's shown what he's capable of, but can he do that consistently over 30 games in a season?
Yeah.
Same thing with Mustafi. He's had a couple of good games, but he's not a great defender. He's not exactly what we need.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's just that you think, but I think your valid point of view must calm down. You know, when you're like, you must just be calm. It makes sense now. But I think, yeah, you are right. I think we were on cloud nine. You know what I mean? We wanted to enjoy it, and it comes down to this has been the problem for the past 2 years, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, even say the past 8 to 10 seasons. You know. But the creativity wasn't a problem for me in those. It was the last 2 seasons, maybe seasons, 2.5 seasons, where we lost that creative edge. And I felt like that's in a game like this, that is pivotal. Like a guy, you saw how Aston Villa defend. I was watching them. They actually did well, bro. Like I was like, they packed the box, they 4-4'd us, you know what I mean? And then they
did what we were doing to.
Yeah.
They did what we're doing to City and Liverpool, right? So yeah, they took a page out of Arteta's book, and that's how we lost that game. And when there was a big bastard that you couldn't get past. And when you play back three, that's what you sacrifice. You sacrifice that creativity through the middle because you essentially don't have a number 10, and you're playing with 5 defenders on the field, and so you have to sacrifice.
Were you worried when we went to a back 4?
No, I wasn't, because I didn't feel, even though they did actually end up creating some chances, Villa, but I felt they were going to be sitting back anyway and just trying to absorb as much of the pressure. So sacrificing a defender made sense because we were chasing the game a bit.
Would you have sacrificed Luis?
Probably not, because I think he is the best passer from the back. He becomes a creative player with his passing and his ability. I mean, we saw against City when he's put Aubameyang through immediately after winning a goal, So yeah, I probably wouldn't have sacrificed him, not while we still have Kolasinac on the field. You know what I mean? So a back two of Holding and Luis would have probably made sense to me. But maybe Luis has played a lot of football recently, and he decided that he needs a bit of a rest. I don't know.
But then he also packed it. He put like Willock, and then he kept Nketiah, put Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang. What was going to happen there, bro? Like, to be honest, what was really going to happen? Because he weren't moving the ball fast enough to do anything, I feel. And that's how you do it against these type of teams. You have to move the ball. And it goes back to your point that there was another thing with no long shots, no shots outside the box, nothing like that. For me, that's quite strange. And that's a big Pep game thing. Pep doesn't like taking shots outside the box. So I was like, bro, like when you get bodies behind, so many bodies into the box, that's your best opportunity. Like Aubameyang, there was a chance where he was like, he tried to do like a side foot cross in, and I was like, bro, just whoop it into the goal. Forced to say, Pepe Reina's not the Pepe Reina anymore. He wasn't even that good back in the day. I just felt they should have tested him a bit more. Even Xhaka, as you said, Ceballos, even Pepe, they should have done a lot more. And I just felt like, I don't know why the long shots wasn't something to be considered or something they didn't do.
I think for me, I have no idea why. Again, you could be right. It could be the Pep influence on Arteta in trying to, get the ball into the box and getting those tap-ins. But another thing is Pepe has become so predictable now. Whenever he cuts back onto his left foot, I know he's going to either pass backwards or he's going to look for Aubameyang in the far post.
He does the same thing like 4 times. He like goes forward, and he just drops it back.
And then pass it. And when your left foot is that strong, we know what it's capable of. Cut inside, maybe fake a shot, fake a cross, beat your man, and then put the ball in the box, take your shot. and he's not really doing that. We just lack creativity. I don't think Lacazette was that great either today. He was pretty poor. And yeah, again, it's just the creativity, man. If you don't have somebody from a much higher up position who's going to try and pull those passes through to the front man, then this is exactly what's going to happen. You know, so
Yeah, and also the touches, they were really off. Like there was like, it's just like they weren't here today. You know, it felt like compared to the touches, some of the touches were so poor. Even like Aubameyang had that one chance where Tierney put him through, and then the way he passed it like in the box, I was like, wow, like you don't do that. Like you've never done that before. You know, like
it's honeymoon.
Yeah, I think they just on like
guys...
50%. You know, they just like you know, in your phone's on like standby, like battery saver. Yeah, they just played on battery saver. Thought they could get the job done. But I suppose we did Villa a favor, if you want to count. We'll knock Watford out because they had a big mouth.
But because they still don't have cojones,
Dini's going down with him. No one's gonna buy that dude.
No, that's true. That's true.
So in terms of sorry.
So the other thing is we actually didn't have control of midfield. I think today it showed just how pivotal Xhaka has become to our play in the midfield. I also think he was spectacular today, as he's been in the past couple of weeks. But when he came on, there was a bit of a difference. Going into the game, the one thing that I did like kind of pick up was that we have two really small midfield players. You know, Torreira and Ceballos, neither of them are, you know, a big physical presence. So they can be easily pushed off the ball. And I mean, you saw Torreira giving quite a few fouls as well. You know, there was just no, and his passing range is not as great as that of a Xhaka as well. You know, so those, it was weird,
man. It's weird to say that, like right now, because Xhaka, like 4 months ago, wasn't everyone's favorite. 5 months ago,
and right now we can't play without him.
Yeah, it's 100%. I felt the exact when he came on, everything just stabilized. You know, I felt Torreira didn't do a bad job, but I felt Torreira and Ceballos kind of had the same job. So they kind of did the same thing, which didn't really work in this midfield. Because look, at the end of the day, they were working the ball a lot faster than us because we allowed them the space. They closed that space for us. So for us, as I said, we had to go back to forth. But my question now, like I wanted to ask to you was, in terms of these type of games now where we don't have the luxury of sitting back and absorbing and just putting people through or even countering or just taking our chances here. Now we have to create chances. We have to make sure that we get goals. What would you change in terms of like what happened today? Like for Watford, I see the same thing. Watford, maybe they'll come at us, but I don't see it happening, you know, as like a City or a Liverpool, or you know what I mean. So how would what do you think we need to change in order to go into that game? Personnel-wise as well.
Yeah, look, obviously, I think we have to go with the strong lineup. You know, defensively, we have Tierney, Mustafi, Holding. No, not Tierney, Mustafi, Luis. You know, that's our strongest back three. But I'd actually be even tempted to go with the back four for that last game, and then that will actually give us an extra person in attack. You know, whether that person then becomes whether we play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. I don't know who's going to play at number 10 because I doubt it's going to be Ozil. Maybe we might choose Willock or something. So maybe that would be one change that I would make, and just making sure that Pepe plays on the inside lane and not hanging onto the wing so much. You know, Cedric didn't go forward as much as I would have liked, and I think it is because he wants to go on the wing, but because Pepe is there, you know, he's having to actually hold his run back as well. So it's a couple of tweaks. Even if it is the same formation, then that's perfectly fine. But it's just some tactical tweaks here and there that can actually improve our game. You know, so maybe a 3-5-3 is still the formation to go with, and we just need to have a lot more energy than what we had today. I think our pressing was poor. The passing was poor. Our ball control was poor. The game management was poor. Everything just didn't click today. Yeah, yeah.
And I think you're right.
Yeah.
That back three of Tierney, Mustafi, and Luiz, actually, all three of them are passers as well. So they all three can play good balls through. And I think we lack that today because Kola, let's not hate on him anymore. But, he was a bit poor in that area. Even Holden looked a bit shaky. And I think he just wants to, now that we piece this game together, I'm looking at the performance, I'm like, it just feels like he just needs to get these guys into a rhythm of his style of play. And he knows who's in it. That's why he made the changes. And he's still trying to perfect that. Hopefully, when we went to a back four, we showed a lot more intent. It was just we didn't have that kind of quality to, not even quality, we don't have the player to draw men, draw people on and play people through. And I feel like, moving the ball fast enough. And I think that's something he has to work on because we can go into, I think in Chelsea, we have to play a bit of both, like counter football and also attack on them, And I think a kid like Martinelli was actually missing in a game like today, because Saka for me was also a bit off today.
He was.
Game, and I felt Nketiah and Lacazette, like you can't play those two. Like you can't. It's impossible because like Nketiah is a number 9. He's not going to change. You can't put him on the wing. You could see. And every time you see how he just drifts towards Lacazette. Like he just ends up right next to Lacazette. You're like, what are you doing?
Center.
Maybe if it's a pocket, like you put him in front of Lacazette and you have Lacazette dropping as like
dropping a little bit. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I thought that was actually before the game when I was looking at the starting lineup. I actually thought we might actually be going with two up front. When I saw the fact that both Lacazette and Nketiah were playing. But it looked like as the game went on, it looked like Nketiah and Lacazette were actually just exchanging. One was going wide and the other going central. So that was probably one of the mistakes that you can put on Arteta and maybe try something new. There's something he'd seen in practice or in training that he figured, okay, that might be something he might try. And it didn't quite work out today. Whether that's down to the players or the tactics, because as we said, the energy really wasn't there. So it's easy now to say the personnel change would have made a difference. But if they're not performing, if they're not up to it and they're not showing that motivation to actually go out there, then it's difficult,
And then, like, on the first goal, we didn't really speak about it. Like, could you fault anyone? Did you see any issues? Because for me, it was just unlucky, to be fair, He caught the ball, he hit it hard. Like, I think Suarez could have done better. But to be fair, that was Cola's position.
Yeah, look, it was a great goal, and there was absolutely nothing. I don't think Martinez could have done anything about it. And perhaps if there was somebody to criticize, it would be Suarez. I think he could have come out a little bit quicker. And I think during halftime they actually showed a clip of Aubameyang laughing with Tyrone Mings, who then went on to flick the ball onto. I think he flicked the ball on. We tried to clear, but it wasn't. So he was smiling. Tyrone Mings was on the front foot, and he got to the ball first. So I just have to watch the replay again.
Yes, he did. It was a weird one, like ricochet.
Maybe a little bit of a lack of concentration for the goal.
Yeah.
It was a great goal, take nothing away from it, but I think we might have been able to do a few things better in leading up to that goal.
Yeah, because like even defensively, it wasn't like a really poor performance, in considering like the personnel he had on. And I think you're right, it was just energy from the get-go. Even from the beginning, like Aston Villa were pumped, man. Like, to be fair, they were really pumped. Like, you could see, like, they actually do deserve to stay up here because, damn, like, they played 90 minutes, Even towards the end, they were stopping us. So, I think it is fair to say. It's just, I suppose it's just, not the bitter taste, No one likes to lose. And I suppose, but the thing is, those flaws existed in our team, the non-creativity.
Yeah.
Maybe his changes, he realized now who's essential. And, like knowing Xhaka and Tierney and David Luiz have to probably play every game or every second game. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Aubameyang,
Yeah.
for me, like it was just up front, it was just poor. Like some of the decision making, there was no really much creative. I can't really think of anything Aubameyang did. Nobody really changed the game except Tierney and Xhaka for me, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Pepe, look, I think I've been very disappointed in him lately. If you go back to his time under Emery, I think he was a whole lot more direct when he was playing. Same thing with Iwobi. They would run at their players. That's why he was the first player to beat
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk, yeah, in a very long time. And that's because he was running at him. He was very direct. He'd go to his man, step over or a quick turn, shiv over here and there, and he's gone, And we're not seeing that anymore. Whether that's a case of, I don't think it's confidence. Maybe it's a tactical thing to push him too far wide or whatever. But yeah, we're not seeing that. And he's one player who can potentially change the game for us with his skill, with his pace and strength, and be able to either get a cross in, get a shot, or just win us a penalty. He won us a free kick in a dangerous position, and I think that's like the only thing that I really remember of him that was memorable.
I don't even know if that was a free kick though.
Yeah, it was we got lucky with that one perhaps. But yeah, that was really the only highlight. Then besides him just trying to find Aubameyang in the far post every single time he got the ball.
It is strange that he changed it up because he does have that kind of change up play where he can, like, he's so quick and his skill, he can really, cause problems for the defense. I don't know, maybe it's because it's like 6 out of 10 times he actually gets past the guy. The other 4 times, he kind of like loses the ball. So it's not quite, but I think when you're playing a game like this without that creativity edge, you need to set your forwards free. Like in that, give them that versatility to just go run at players. Because at the end of the day, if you're not creating for them, at least put them into good positions for them to run at. Because for me, I've also noticed they kind of like double team Pepe now. You know what I mean? They always have like 2 men on him, maybe a third, like in case he passes the 2. Like they're already ready, Or they squeeze him, they try double team him and they'll push him one side and then he'll try to turn him, but they'll squeeze him out. They did that. I thought it was a foul, but it wasn't a foul, like just before the game ended. So it is. I don't know. It's weird because we are that type of team where we allow these guys to freely express themselves. So when you kind of don't do that, it becomes difficult because now he's also a kid. He now needs to change his style and develop his play. And I don't think he's that winger where you cut on the right and then you cross in. I don't think he's that effective. For me, rather go around the player, come into the box and 45 it or whatever, So it's just, I don't know. You think maybe he's trying to get more discipline into him or more control and use that kind of ability when he needs to and not always rely on it. Try and make him become more of a team player instead of,
maybe
just charging down and trying to take on players.
I doubt it, but maybe. But I mean, if that's the guy's strength, that's what you actually want to get out of him. You're not gonna ask Lacazette to go and play in the midfield, for example, because you know where his strength is. When he's pressing from the front, he's very good at that and winning the balls. Same with Pepe. Pepe is a skillful player and he can run at players. He's got pace, he's quick, and he's pretty strong. So those are his strong points, and he should be playing to those to build up his confidence. Then you can tweak his, like I need you to do 1, 2 things differently. But once that confidence is up, it's going to be, those instructions are going to be much easier for him to actually take on board, as opposed to right now when he doesn't seem to be free to do what he really can do and what he's very capable of. So
I think this game was a time to unleash him, to be fair, because it was a game where he can just run at these guys and do what he needs to do.
Yeah, but I think that's my thing then, where I personally would have loved to see Reece Nelson come on, especially when Saka went off, because he's more direct and is naturally right-footed and he can get crosses in. Putting Ketia and Lacazette up front,
fast, he's so fast.
He's quick. He's quick, and his crosses are pretty decent as well. If you're not going to get Cedric overlapping and getting crosses in, at least have somebody who's naturally right-footed that's going to be getting those crosses in. So you've got him on one side, you've got Nketiah and Lacazette in the box, and you've got Aubameyang in the far post as well. And on the left, you've got Tierney playing left back, and you know what his crosses are. I think even today, as much as they weren't finding a man, but they were not really easy to clear. You know, the defenders were kept very busy with these crosses. You know, but yeah, and one thing that was frustrating, and there was a lack of urgency, even towards the end of the game, where we'd be in their half, and then somehow the ball would
turn around
Martinez.
back. Yeah.
You know, so it's that urgency. So that's why for me, I think the guys just were not up to it. They didn't really want it. And I mean, we can speak for hours and hours about the tactics and all that, but the players, or maybe even it was Arteta, but maybe, I don't know. But they just weren't there. They were not up to it. Villa had more to play for. They still want to be in the league. When they probably found out that Watford dropped points as well, that probably motivated.
Now they're out of the relegation zone just because of that.
They're out of the, you know. So yeah, they just had the extra motivation that we didn't have.
No, last few before we have to go. We didn't really touch on him, but because Kola stole the show with being like quite poor. But Suarez, Cedric, I think he needs a bit of work. He was, you know, there were times where his crosses were a bit. He went up to par, you know, very low, very indecisive, didn't know which areas to put it in. But I suppose in games like this is what we need to find out. I think there's also a good learning curve too in this game because we could see certain aspects to certain players. As you say, Pepe needs to run down more on players. Kola needs support like 24/7. You know, Cedric needs to work on his deliveries. I think defensively he's not bad. He gets caught out of position. But to be fair, the right was fairly stable. It was the left when they were coming down on Kolasinac and Saka that we're having a bit of issues from. You know, so how you felt about Cedric and his performance today? Because we haven't really seen a full game of him, you know.
Yeah, honestly, Cedric and I think Holding and Kolasinac, I mean, obviously he was poor, but those three, for me, their position is not guaranteed in terms of starting lineup. They all should be out there just trying to prove a point that they deserve to be there, especially Holding. I mean, a few of the guys have been saying, he deserves his chance to be starting. He's a good defender, probably better than Mustafi. But today he didn't really show that, and there was an opportunity to really put his hand up and say, I'm here. This is what I'm capable of. Same thing with Suarez. You know, he's just come in. He played. He had a good start. His first game was good. He scored a goal in debut, and he's had a couple. I think one other game where he played relatively well in. But besides that, Bellerin has been starting ahead of him. So this was actually a chance for him to actually try and put his hand up and say, "Yo, I'm here. I deserve to be starting every single game going forward or next season." You know, and he didn't quite do that. Kolasinac, for me, he needs to go. we got him in for free. He's done a job at left wing back. But he needs to go. He's just not good enough defensively. He's not good enough going forward. He's just a tank. He's good at protecting Özil from muggers and thugs, but besides that, no.
Actually, forgot about that.
Besides that, he hasn't
Bosnian.
Really done,
He's a Bosnian.
The Bosnian bouncer, man. That's what he is.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. You know what? I think there's only so much Arteta could have done or bring out from these players, but you can see we really need new personnel and quality personnel, especially if you want to challenge, you know, and it's games like these that are more decisive than the two previous games we played, you know, because this could have been a chance to go into Europe if we didn't have FA Cup. If we lost over the weekend, this was a must win if we want Europe, you know. And
and maybe that would have motivated them as well. Maybe it's the fact that they know they've got that other avenue where they can try and exploit to get to Europe. And you know, and
I've never said it in my life. Like Arsenal's been, we finished 10th. You know, my whole life. You know, for like majority of my Arsenal career, we were like top 4. I was like top 4. Everybody's like, what like top 4 for like 23 years. what. Even sixth hurt, like last season hurt.
Yeah.
Like now we're gonna say like 8th, 10th. Yeah.
But it's about
I
finishing.
think that was the reason for me to play. So I had to play.
I think it was similar last season. I mean, we had it in our hands. I think last season it was even worse because we had a couple of games to go. We just needed 3 points to make sure that we're in the Champions League, and we faltered and lost like the last 3 of the 4 games that we played. So again, it was just about wrapping things up again.
Yeah.
Today.
Closing a Premier League season is always hard,
Yeah, and we faltered again. The squad needs rebuilding, and that's why I've been saying over and over that we just need to calm down. The victors are great, the players are in form, but
I think you need to start every video off. Be like, "How's it, guys? Is everyone calm?
Good, calm."
So just before you go, man, any positives out the game? A player that was good for you? Nothing.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Martinez was tested all that much besides picking the ball out of his net. They had a couple of chances that they could have taken. I thought Grealish was auditioning for the top 6 sides to say, come and get me,
He's even slick too. He looks like a English Danny Ceballos there,
Yeah. I think it was a come and get me plea for any of the sides in the top 6. Man, I thought he had a good game. But no positive, not a single thing that I can pick out and say was a positive for us. Not one. And I'm a positive person. I try to find stuff, but nothing.
Yeah, it's hard, bro. I was actually not amped for like the interviews today because I was just like, I don't even know what to speak because we're gonna speak for long on like negatives.
Nothing.
Not even one positive, Yeah, it was just.
Well, explains why I'm the only one here.
Thanks, Anita. I forgot to tell you that, but much appreciated. No, it was a tough one, but I think it was a good showing. Aston Villa came out, and like Greenish, I don't even know what to say. I think we kind of made him look good, but that whole team just revolves around feeding him the ball. That's what I realized.
Yeah.
That Fernandez is good, the guy that scored the goal. He's actually pretty decent. He had a good game, to be fair.
Trezeguet, yeah. Trezeguet, he played pretty well. Yeah. No, they were amped. They wanted it more, and like literally, we could have come on to done this episode in 5 minutes because it's literally the same thing that I've been saying, that they wanted it more. They had more energy, and that's all there was to it. Really, we were just not at the races at all.
Did it feel like? Sorry, my last one, and then we out. did it feel like those old days? Like 2018, maybe even 2015 days, the sideways passes, not really going anywhere.
Yeah, it's about the creativity that we're lacking that you mentioned earlier. And if you do not have somebody that's brave enough to take players on and perhaps try to find those killer passes, then that's what's going to happen. And that's what we did against Liverpool. That's what we did against Man City. We sat back, and as much as they were coming at us, they were not able to get through because they wanted to get the ball in behind, get their strikers running into the spaces, and we just sat
our tactic
and
was
didn't allow them. And he must have watched our game and like, okay, let's see if we can actually do the same thing.
To be fair, that goal was like gifted to them. To be fair, because the guy just hit it, bro. He didn't even ask questions. Did that thing. So
just like us, right? Just like us against Liverpool, we forced mistakes. And against City, yes, there were 2 really good goals, so I can't take anything on from Arsenal there. But it was the same tactic that they used today. They one chance, they buried it.
This teaches him, and I think he knows this though, but you can't rely on the same kind of plays. You need to diversify it up, especially with the way we play and who we have. We can't be playing a high press, high intensity midfield game against the Villa. You know what I mean? Because they'll just sit back and be like, come at us. We'll take you on any day. And if you don't get through them, they just have to start. Because towards the end, with Holding and Kolasinac, if they had to put a good ball through, we were done. We were done. 2, 3, 4. One would have went to 2 or 3.
And it almost happened.
That miss.
I can't remember. Where he just beat Holding, beat him for strength, beat him for pace, and it was just unfortunate not
That
to find
issue
it
now
better
is
than
just like,
that.
those two are
Yeah, I was
never
waiting
pairing
for that.
again. Even because I was running, I was like, why are you running? Why are you so far? Like, so I'm like, like, you do not see this guy go through. But that Greenish good is, would you want, actually, that's one of the last question. Would you want that dude at Arsenal?
Definitely, definitely. I'm not sure. I don't think he's an out-and-out winger. So even if it was a case of playing a 4-3-3, as him playing as one of the eights, or he can even play out wide as well. You know, just for if we see that Pepe is not playing well, or he can play on the left as well. So
But he looks like he can
gives us a
control
lot
a
of options.
midfield, to be fair as well. You know,
He
he likes
can,
to
and
be
he's
in the mix of things, you know. That's what I like about
yeah.
Danny Spies. He likes to be everywhere trying to get the ball. But he's not, the thing is, he's not effective enough. For me, that greenish, he gets into those areas, but then he can also release well. He doesn't hold the ball up too long. He releases, he knows where his players are. And for me, it was quite positive. So I was hoping Villa go down and can put a good bid there, take those out. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, look,
right.
I'd love to see him at Arsenal. I think he's a good player. And as you maybe at Villa because he is the star, you know, the star player. He performs, and I think he's a Villa boy anyway. He grew up a Villa fan or whatever. Yeah. So perhaps there's a whole lot more motivation for him to do well. And when he knows that everything goes through him, he's, you know, that gives him that confidence and he can try stuff. Maybe if he was to come to Arsenal with the stars, I say that in inverted commas, that we've got, he might just slide under the radar a little bit. He might not get the ball as much as he wants. I don't know. I'm just speculating now, but I'd actually love to see what he can do at Arsenal because he is a direct runner. He can take players on, and he does have an end product as well. As you say, he knows how to find his players. He's got a
Reminds
good
me of
pass
like a
on it.
Madison, you know. I like that kind of, but it's like a number 8/10, but you can move into a number 9 role. Very diverse, but you're also defending, you know. So it's a very diverse role. So yeah, Watford now. Are you happy? Frightened? Last game of the season, actually, the second last game of the season, man. Like damn, you know.
Yeah.
In freaking like July, but anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this stage, honestly. For me, whatever the result is, let's just close the season off.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that we'd be able to see someone like, I think, Matthew Smith coming to see what he has to offer. Zach Medley as well, Trey Coyle, you know, some of the youngsters that were brought into the first
Maybe
team.
it's done and he needs to do that, you know. I think today you can't actually go out and be like, look, I'm gonna try stuff. If we lose, we lose. Can't you know, as a manager, you can't go out and say that. And I think today it wasn't solely that we needed to win. It was, look, let's go try some stuff, let's see what's happening, let's see our combinations. We realize a lot, you know. I think we can pick out more.
Yeah, look, today I understood going with a stronger lineup because we had something to play for. But against Watford, I honestly do not think we can still get to the Europa via qualifying, finishing 7th. Exactly. So then use it as a game to see some of the players that you haven't actually seen play a game. Zach Med, he looks like a big fellow too. I think he might be able to do a job in defense, or well, I don't know because I haven't really seen him play. Matthew Smith as well. I think he was the captain of the under-23s and he was the assist king.
I also like to see those kids in the midfield as well, like Willock. You know, let's try him out as like a Xhaka and Willock or Ceballos and Willock. Let's see if that can work. Because he's the only person, an Emil Smith Rowe and maybe Reece Nelson. But Reece Nelson's a winger for me. You know, he has to be wide. You know, inside it's Willock for me. That's the only person. And if
I'd like to see Maitland-Niles and Xhaka, and see how they can control the game, you know. So yeah.
And I think Maitland-Niles today would have made a difference. To be fair, you know, he just adds another bit of creativity. He is a baller, to be fair, you know. Even Reece Nelson, I watch his Bundesliga days. He's got some skill, man. It's just that I suppose you can't. You know, it's hard to do it. But I think Maitland-Niles, for me, he has the potential, but. It's hard, man. We've got all these like versatile players, man. It just becomes frustrating because we're like, hey, we need you guys to like Saka today. Okay, well, you took him off early, but there were people that should have picked passes better, but just didn't work out.
Yeah, now we just went there.
Last day Sunday.
at all.
Last day.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Sunday turns out like today as well, just because I think the guys will probably just be going through the motions, waiting for the 90 minutes to be over, just so the season come to an end.
and no one
we start
actually
looking
really,
forward to
look, to be fair, nobody went in hard. Like, I didn't see a hard tackle from Arsenal. It was stupid little yellow card tackle, but no hard, rough. So now that we unpacked it, it kind of like, oh, just took it easy in the style. Not to
Yeah.
take credit away from Villa, but you know,
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
took it easy.
yeah.
Would you, oh yeah, would you like to see Watford go down? Between Watford, Villa, and Bournemouth.
Watford.
They must
Trey
go.
Deeney can go. Trey Deeney can go.
Work your way back up and he'll send you down again.
I just didn't want to see Saul go down. As it Ismail Sarr, yeah, I think they've got a good player in there. They've actually
got a few good players.
On paper, yeah, they've got some good players, but I guess it just hasn't worked. I mean, last season I think we were linked with Decore as well to come to Arsenal, but somehow
if they go
it
down,
just hasn't worked out.
Just cheaper guys want to get out of the club, come back to Premier League. You know what I mean? So hopefully they leave. Even I don't know between Bournemouth, but if Aston Villa goes down, Greenish is coming to one of these top 6 teams, I feel. Or even like Leicester. Okay, Leicester's a top 6 team. Shit.
yeah. We're the mid-table team now.
I just saw Traore, they offered, I don't know how much he's going for, but they evaluated him. So yeah. Do you know what's he going for?
Yeah. No, what is he going for?
I don't know. I suppose like 80 million or something stupid like that for him. He's good,
Jeez,
bro.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, but 80 million good. I don't know. I don't know.
He's Wolves
we'll see. But there's a couple of players. Maybe after the last game, after the FA Cup final as well, you can just have another show where we can just discuss. Like, there's a lot of good players that are going to be relegated, and you know, it might be well just having a discussion around that. Yeah, I think you should do that. And,
it's just I don't keep in touch with like every league and it's hard, right? You know, to watch.
No, even if it's just looking at the players that are in the English Premier League. I think Norwich have some really good, some decent players in there. My battery's running out.
Well, that was Sandile. It was great having him on, but yeah, it was Gunakast SA 2-0 loss to what? 1-0 loss to Villa. Unlucky, unfortunate, disappointing. But yeah, on to the next match day. It's me, Keesh, and it's Gunakast SA.